So Nate's new video, I'm like, hey, let's check this out before we hit the gym today. And then he's watching my video while I'm watching his video while we're filming my video. Perfect way to start the video. Exciting stuff. We actually had an increase in calories, which by now I just figured, like, when was that ever gonna happen? It had been like, I've been dieting pretty hard for like 3 months or something like that, maybe longer. And so we have bananas added to the cream of wheat and peanut butter, which will give us an additional 20-ish grams of carbs pre-workout. It's just the little things, guys. It's just the little things at this point. But actually, I got like 290 carbs on my plan now instead of like the 170-ish I had before. So that's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, I'm excited for today. It's gonna be chest and also some shoulders, and hopefully,
good morning.
yeah, hopefully, I'm getting smaller, but I'm almost to the point where with a pump, I look bigger. It's a whole thing with bodybuilding, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Peak music was like 2005, like elementary school, 4th grade, 5th grade, best music ever.
I just want to gouge my eyes out. Can we get back to like a Nicki Minaj,
No.
Lizzo mood?
What?
Like,
No.
you used to hype me up with those songs.
Put Mike in plural on that stuff.
No.
So last video, we kind of talked about leveling up and what that looks like, and a really good example from this past week of how I've personally kind of matured as an athlete, as a bodybuilder, is we went on a cruise and we had a good time. And I think old me, had I been 10% body fat, dieting for 4 months, I would have gone on a cruise and maybe not gone crazy, but I would have gained weight for sure.
Yeah.
I would have gained weight.
Or you would have done the opposite and not enjoyed your time at all. Like,
Yeah.
not had dessert. A lot of
Maybe,
things.
yeah, maybe. And I mean, I've proven myself a few times. Like, literally on our honeymoon in Hawaii, I tracked my macros.
Yeah.
But a cruise can be dangerous because it's just all there, all out in front of you, all out in the open, nonstop, 24/7, free everything. There's just so much food. But I did not gain a single pound on that cruise last week. And
I was impressed because you were so chill mentally too.
I think that's the key, is how chill and balanced I was. I wasn't freaking out literally at all. I wasn't starving myself on purpose or like doing extraordinary amounts of cardio and feel guilty and stuff. Like, just none of that. I just like felt really normal. It goes to show that you can get better, you know, like with time you do mature, you do get better as an athlete. If I had that expectation a few years ago for me, that would have been kind of hard, but I've just progressively put in effort to get better, and I have over the last few years. So it's just cool, you know. It's kind of like my message for everyone is like, if you ever struggle with a lot of food anxiety, or whether if it's even as intense as an eating disorder, just know that you can and will improve and become more matured and disciplined and all that stuff, to the point where it's just easy. You don't even have to think about it. You just live a normal life, and that's that, you know. It's awesome. Pretty happy about it. Down in my punk rock era.
I was hoping it would be a short phase.
No Nope. So we are officially under 21 weeks out, and I read this stat the other day that the chances of going pro in the IFBB Pro League is less than 1%. And not that that surprises me one bit, but it just puts things into perspective of how hard it is to achieve the goal that I want to achieve. And so when I'm going to a session like this, we got chest and shoulders, chest being one of my weaknesses, I kind of have this mindset. I just remember, I'm a realist, so I don't like to lie to myself. I don't like to deceive myself, tell myself like, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna do it. It's like the reality is I literally might not go pro ever. It might be impossible for me. So I go into these sessions knowing that I'm essentially in a deficit, I'm behind. And so in order for me to catch up with everyone else, I'm not gonna be able to rely on my genetics. I'm not elite gifted when it comes to genetics. I'm behind. And so every little bit that is within my reach and within my decision making that I can squeeze out an extra 1, 2, 3% of improvement, I have to take advantage of that. My training has to be better than everyone else's. My intensity, my volume, the little things that, you know, when you're in a set and you want to quit, but you keep going anyway, or you want to cheat the rep or whatever, but instead you focus in and make sure that the right muscle is doing what it's supposed to be doing. I have to do that. My nutrition has to be 100%. My sleep has to be 100%. Recovery, everything I do has to be 100% because I don't get a fallback on any sort of God-given gifts from genetics or, you know, whatever. I'm not going to get lucky. I have to do everything that I can to put myself in the best position possible. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. I'm not really sure, you know, but we're gonna do everything that I can to get there. So that's my mindset going into this session now. Let's crush it. All right, you guys, so 20-ish weeks out. This is my physique right now. As I mentioned, basically at my lowest weight right now, 189.6 this morning. I was 189.4 yesterday. And we're getting it, so here we go.
They wouldn't let me. Man's gal wanna come undress me. Swing with the right, but I might go lefty. I made plus with it, so don't test me. They wouldn't let me. Man's gal wanna come undress me. Swing with the right, but I might go lefty. I made plus with it, so don't test me. Nah, you don't impress me, so don't test me. Nah, so don't test me. Nah, don't test me. You don't impress me, so don't test me. Nah, so don't test me. Nah, don't test me.
Awesome session today, and one thing that I really, probably because it's the end of the year, but I've been really just spending more time looking inward and kind of contemplating where I'm at, if I'm happy with where I'm at, what needs to change, kind of asking myself some of the harder questions as we come down to the end of this year. And I think that's one thing that more people need to do more is look inward, because something, I've said this before on the channel, but Musashi, who again, he's one of the most famous samurais of all time. He was a Ronin back 600 years ago in Japan. And one thing that he preached as a philosopher was that we have everything we need already inside of us. It's there, but it's up to us to kind of find it. And the only way we can do that is when we start to look inward and see ourselves for who we are right now. And I think what stops a lot of people from doing that is, I would say, number one, fear of what they might find. Because when you look inward and ask yourself those hard questions, you might be afraid to find that you do have weaknesses. You do have areas where you need to improve or address, or maybe even things from your past that you've yet to overcome and that you're afraid to allow to resurface. Or maybe we're just purely distracted from a society that has so many insignificant things happening all the time that we have no time to really look inward and be alone with ourselves. And it's unfortunate that that's the world we live in, but I think it's our personal responsibility to do that. And I think the last reason why people don't do this is because they almost don't want to seem selfish. They don't want the world and their friends and the people around them to perceive them as selfish when we do spend more time on ourselves and when we say no sometimes. But think about it, we live right now in a world where we constantly give up our time for others. We give up our boundaries for others. We do everything for everyone else. And if you have an empty cup, you have nothing to give to anyone else. And so, hey, call me selfish and call what I'm saying as, you know, being pro-selfish, but I think more people need to be more selfish. You need to spend time on yourself. You need to come to the gym by yourself, you and the weights, for a couple of hours just to be alone. You need to do some cardio, have that time when those endorphins are hitting, when you're able to think and look inward. You need that time. You need to have goals that are about you and who you are trying to become, and not so much about what everyone else is doing and what they're trying to become and what they expect from you. You know, the world is putting so many expectations on us all the time, and it's almost like we bow down to those expectations, but not enough do we set our own expectations and hold ourselves accountable to our own expectations and try to impress ourselves. And so that's my message today, is to look inward. Look inward, do some contemplation, figure out where you are, who you're trying to become, especially because the new year is coming. That's one thing. Some people are kind of like anti-New Year's resolutions, and I get that. We should always be trying to improve, and yes, always try to improve every week. But I think we have a system in this world where the seasons come and go. We have 4 seasons, and then spring comes again, and we have a new year. And I don't think that's by chance. I think this is our time to be reborn and to decide who we want to be. And we're at that time now. It's the end of the year, guys. So huge goals. I'm going to talk more about my personal goals in an upcoming video, but thank you for watching this video, and make sure to give it a like. This is episode 5 of The Calm. We got so much more coming, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.